One of the promises I made my father before he passed away was to get out and travel while I'm still young to do it. I've learnt so much from so many fantastic people.
I didn't know they had days off.
It was literally like MDC were listening to our conversations.
I've got a big question that everyone at MDC would like to know.
Welcome to day one of the MDC Muster for Queensland. We've already had one muster down in Victoria, and we've got another one coming up soon after this in New South Wales. But today we're in Queensland. We are at Gucci Creek Escape, which is just north of Gympie, so about 2.5 hours north of Brisbane. And we've got a stack of owners that have come out to join us. There's 150 odd people. We've got about 75 vans here for the weekend, give or take a couple. And we've got some special guests with us. One particular guest today is very well known among the MDC and OzRV owners group, is Miss Kristy Bishop. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm here obviously with Vaughan, the owner of MDC, and Anya, who's sitting down the end, who has done a lot of extensive travelling, caravanning expert in herself, all around the world, America, America, Australia, anywhere in between. So look, today is a bit about getting to know some of the owners, and you're quite iconic, Kristy. We see your van in the service centre every now and then coming in for a tune-up, but it's not for problems. It's just because you were trying to wear it out.
Yeah, well, poor Hugo's done nearly about 100,000 Ks in the last 2 years that I've owned him. So,
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
100,000, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the most travelled vans.
It probably should have come in a lot more often, but I'm too busy travelling.
I've been with the business for about 18 months. I reckon I've seen it there 3 times. Like just for tune-ups, like coming in for suspension servicing.
Yeah, I must admit I'm probably a little bit slack on some of the maintenance because I'm too busy off having fun.
It's an iconic trailer. Tell us a bit about what you've got.
I've got Hugo, the XL15E. I did a lot of research when I was looking for a van. That was back when Tim was on sales. Yep. So that poor guy, I felt sorry for him. About 8 months I was on the phone to him going, I want this, but I don't want this, and I want this, and I don't want this. And secretly this van was being made in the background, but he couldn't tell me about it.
Yeah. So this is a Mark II, Tim Wilson, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the Mark II, he told me to come out to the Nambour show and have a look at it, and I walked straight in, walked straight out and said, where do I sign? It was literally like MDC were listening to our conversations and designed me my van.
We do that sometimes.
Yeah.
We tap phones and find out what you like. And
that's
I
right.
wondered who that creepy person was looking around the
Because
corner.
on your MDC van, you'll follow you around.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why is there a buzz in my phone every time I'm talking to MDC, all that type of stuff?
Because literally, everything I wanted was in this van.
How good.
Couldn't have asked for anything more.
What's something that really stands out to you?
Just everything. The fact that I can travel on my own. I've got 3 different sleeping options. Well, 4 now. I've discovered a new one since I was away. I'll tell you about that one another time. But I can take my adult sons with me if I want, because bunk beds, well, my youngest is 6 foot. The other one's quite tall. So bunk beds were never going to work for if they wanted to come along. So I wanted something that I could travel on my own, handle on my own. It had to have an ensuite because I was travelling obviously on my own, and but just something that if I wanted one of them to come travelling or both of them to come travelling, there was enough room and they could.
Fantastic. So what inspired you to get into travelling?
I've been travelling ever since I was like 3 years old. My parents were always camping. We used to spend a lot of time down the south coast of New South Wales travelling. Then when I was 9, we went overseas and we bought a yellow Ford Cortina station wagon. The number plate was UGO 592M. So his name was Hugo with a silent H.
Ah, this is where Hugo's come from.
Hugo took us all around Europe for about 6 months, and then obviously came home and still more camping and travelling. We ended up having an on-site van at Cudmira near Sussex Inlet for a few years. My parents still continued their travelling. They went from camper trailers right up and ended up with a Winnebago in the end. And one of the promises I made my father before he passed away was to get out and travel while I'm still young to do it. Because he said there's nothing worse than pulling up somewhere and seeing some old person stumble out of the car and they can't walk up the stairs to look at what they've come to see.
Yep.
So, and that's obviously where I got inheritance money, so that's where Hugo the second was born.
Right. So what did you have? Did you have a different caravan before you bought this
I've
one?
never owned a caravan in my life.
So you've walked straight up to a hybrid 15E and just driven 100,000 Ks around Australia a couple of times.
Pretty much. When I
That's
first
amazing.
bought the van, I didn't even know how to reverse it.
Wow. So how did you learn all this stuff? Tell us.
Well, first of all, I went on the MDC tag-along Nundle tour that they first, you guys first put on, and met the lovely Steve Zammit and some lovely MDC owners, friends of mine, Nicole and Carl. They've got a 14E, XL15E. And then they were absolutely lovely. I introduced myself and said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I follow you to the dump point to find out what you do at the dump point?"
Yeah.
So that's how we met. Since then, we've been on the Highlands tour together. And on the Highlands tour, she's like, "Are you using your toilet yet?" "No." "But we showed you." "Okay, I'll use it." So she made me use the toilet. They've also taught me how to use a diesel heater, the shower, everything.
Fantastic.
And since then, I've gone on a few other trips with them. We did Cape York last year, and I've literally just come back after the Mundi Bash doing a 5-week trip with them down to Kangaroo Island. And
Amazing. Down to South Australia.
Yep.
And so that's a fair trip because you're from around these parts, aren't you?
yeah, literally just 100 Ks up the road.
So good. Amazing. So I guess, yeah, you've done a lot of travel. Like, have you ever? How does a single solo female take on those big trips?
Well,
give you
admittedly,
confidence?
I did do a couple of tag-along tours. So Big Sky tag-along tours, who did the Highlands tour and the Nundle tour. I did their transcontinental tour. And then I did their Gibb River Road Savannah tour to get all my confidence and everything up.
That's a good confidence builder, Kim. Yeah, excellent.
Pretty much, especially sliding up the mud. And it was, and Hugo performed way better than all the other bands.
That's amazing.
Even if I do say so myself.
So, Kristy, how long have you been towing now?
Well, Hugo turned 2 at Loyalty Beach this year.
Yeah, so it's
Unbelievable.
around 2 years.
So just over 2 years, yeah.
So, 2 ladies here on the panel today. Question I'd like to ask both of you: when you first started to tow a caravan, what was your biggest perceived risk, danger? What were you really worried about the first time you were towing a van? Anya, if you'd like to go first.
So I'd never towed before until I started working in MDC. And my first introduction to towing was on an Alice Springs trip for 2 weeks along the Plenty Highway. And my perception, I guess, before that was, what happens when a car comes towards me? What do I do? Like, how do I slow this thing down? But I guess once you start and you I don't know, Steve's always behind me saying, you know how to choose the right lines, you know how to take your foot off the accelerator. Maybe it's just something that you get to know, like you get to feel. But before that trip, I had no idea how to tow. Like, similar to yourself, like I was just thrown in on my own towing with a 300 series on the Plenty Highway. So yeah, I was thrown in the deep end for sure.
But since then, you've been on four-wheel drive TV trips and all kinds of literally extreme
and
four-wheel driving stuff.
My first
as well,
trip to the Birdsville Big Red Bash was seeing Vaughan with the road trains coming towards you and thinking I could never pass one of those things. But the next year I did it myself. It was easy. Like, it's just I don't know. You just have to get yourself in there and just try. and it's not that daunting.
A word that you used a minute ago was you feel it. Like,
Yeah.
I think feeling it, towing, if you are feeling it, you are at your heightened awareness and consciousness of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to feel the van behind you. You should be able to understand how to react if something's happening. So your awareness is obviously very high and you are alert in that situation.
And I think I personally know for myself, my driving is I don't automatically go for the brake. I'll let off the accelerator and just gauge what's happening. So I know that for myself, if it comes into a sticky situation, I know that I won't go for the brake and put myself into that moment where you get
won't
a little bit out of
overreact.
control. Yeah.
You're learning what a
I've never
measured
had that
response is.
Yeah. Never had that situation. But I just feel that that's in my other experience of just driving a car naturally. I just know that I won't just go for the brake.
Chris, have you ever had any sort of scary or hairy experiences on the road?
Yeah, quite a few. Peak hour going through Sydney. Have you ever done that one?
I lived in Sydney for 16 years. I know all about it.
The
It is
brakes
scary.
worked really well. Like I locked up, like a truck came from the left lane and cut across 3 lanes in front of me, and I literally had to slam on the brakes.
But that's how you
everything
drive in
locked up.
Sydney, don't you? You
Yeah,
can't
that's right.
turn
Yeah,
unless you
yeah.
cut people off.
Yeah,
because they
that's
don't
right.
let you in.
They
in
don't let you
Sydney.
in. You've just got it's every man
so
for themselves.
that was probably my hairiest situation. Like, I hear you talking about the Plenty Highway and all of that, and I did the Great Central and all of that, and that was easy compared to peak hour traffic
Yeah.
in Sydney.
Absolutely.
And that's Steve and also Vaughan taught me the one single thing that I just cherish that I got taught is using the manual in an automatic vehicle
Yes.
when you're
Yes.
going downhill.
Yes.
That is one. I think one trip we went on recently that was mostly in manual in the cruiser. I can't remember where we were, but that's one lesson I've been taught that I try and teach everyone that when they're towing that to use that manual option in the automatic car.
Yeah, thankfully, I got taught that same thing when I did the Nundle tour,
Yeah, great.
because I'd done a couple of 4-wheel drive courses, but I wasn't aware that I could use those same skills and dials in the car
Yeah.
when you're towing.
I think that highlights something about you. You've invested in your own development and learning to be able to drive safely and travel safely with a caravan. You've talked about doing 4-wheel drive courses and things like that. It isn't just rock up and grab a van and go. Yes,
No.
you have to have some awareness, but that comes from speaking with people and educating yourself, and that's very easy and accessible. As you say, jump on a tag along or speak to other people who've done it and learn from others, which ultimately is why we're here, is to learn. We've already done it today. We've spent a lot of time cruising around with owners and had little people ask questions and poke their head up and say, got any ideas or what we can do about this? And it's a perfect forum for offering suggestions and sharing feedback. So that's why we're doing it.
That's what I found with the Vic Muster. So many customers came up to us at the end of the 3-day event and said, we've learnt so much, like things that we thought we didn't need to know, and just little tips and tricks that they have got from other owners in the same event was really exciting to hear that firsthand.
Yeah. So, Chris, what are some of the big events that have really, or I guess, what do the events mean to you? As a traveller, you've been to quite a few. What do you get out of them?
Oh, friendship, camaraderie. I've met so many people. Like, there's a couple that are here today that I met at the Big Red Bash last year, and we did Cape York this year together. As I said, my friends Nicole and Carl from Gosford, the Central Coast. We've actually done organised trips together since doing all these other tag-alongs that have been arranged by MDC and MDC events. I learn every time I come, just every time I go camping with someone that owns an MDC, I learn something new. Just a new little trick. Oh, I do this, or oh, I do that. Like, for example, on this last trip, Carl was insistent that he wasn't happy with my hitch. This whole 2 years, he hasn't been happy with my hitch. So we sourced a new pin, and we took the tow ball off the other spare hitch. He's going, we're going to leave the other one together just in case. And we turned the hitch up, and it's towing, I could never really feel Hugo on the back anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to go, oh, that's
But he's
right.
perhaps adjusted the travel height, has he? Adjusted the ride height of it?
Because he was just like, and it wasn't like he was too low. Well, he was a little bit, but not
It could have been better.
not like that.
Yep.
And since doing that, it sits a lot more level, and yeah.
We talked about that actually. Talked about weight distribution and how you set up your van in
Yep.
a podcast with Banksy. What have you noticed with that? Because obviously, are you noticing a difference in how the vehicle travels and how the vehicle drives?
Yeah, a lot better. And the fact that you can just pull up and you don't have to put the jockey wheel down because you're already level. That's a bonus.
That's the added bonus,
You
right?
don't have to unhitch. And another thing that they also recommended was because I have got an automatic and I'm using the sports mode and using the gears, I got a heavy duty transmission cooler
Good idea. Great idea.
put in, because when I was on the Vic Highlands tour going up and down and learning to use all my gears, I nearly cooked my transmission. I held everyone up.
It's interesting.
We had to stop and wait for me to cool down before we could continue.
We
So
had a
sorry,
very
guys.
similar discussion in the Banksy podcast too about that. It was the debate about whether or not that's the right thing to do. Is it to use your automatic gearbox in a manual mode extensively, or combine that with heavy use of the brakes too? Obviously, you don't want to use the brakes too much. Well, cup's
Yep.
running away. Don't want to use your brakes too much and cook them, but
Yep.
it's that balancing act between using your gears, controlling the vehicle, and then using the brakes as required. So that's a valid point, I guess. It's use it, but be careful with how much you're using it.
Exactly. And I have noticed that since install it, like I think I had it for about 6 months before I put the transmission cooler in, and it's just made a huge difference.
Yep.
Like coming down through Kosciuszko National Park on this last trip, the brakes still smelt, like you could smell them when we got down the bottom, but the car still handled, the gearbox didn't overcook, the brakes didn't cook, everything.
So you've invested in setting the vehicle up right
Yep.
to tow the right van for
Yep.
the trips you're doing. A lot of high country stuff and things
Yep.
like that. That's excellent.
And before I got delivery of the car, I made sure I got a GBM upgrade as well.
Yeah, great. Well done.
So,
So, what are some of been your favourite memories from some of those big events? You got something that stands out?
I'm trying to think.
You've done a bit
I've done so much that it's all just
into a blur.
it is in a way, but it's every single trip has something fantastic has happened, a new friendship, new knowledge, just
Yeah.
the whole lot really.
What about your sticker collection? Surely that's got to be a bit of a highlight.
Yeah, well, I got into trouble. I'm not allowed to collect stubby coolers anymore. So
What? Stubby coolers.
No.
Someone
stick-
else here loves stubby coolers.
Well, my when I did the Great Central and the Gibb River, I was away for like a good 3 months, and then I didn't even go home. I just went straight to the Big Red Bash, and I kept posting home stubby coolers, and it was like I got into trouble because I'd like wrap them all down, and then when they'd get home, my son would open and be like a Jack in the Box with like 50 stubby coolers, and he's like, no more stubby coolers. So now when I go somewhere, I'm like, am I allowed to buy a stubby cooler? It's like, oh, only one.
But now your sticker collection, that's what you're known for.
And-
So if you haven't seen Hugo there's no paint left on it. It's just stickers.
But now I'm in trouble for that because my son, who is now employed to put the stickers on, on our last trip he travelled with me, he'd go into the information centre, he'd go grab a sticker, come back and go, I've got your sticker. And then I'd go around and go, oh, I like that sticker too, and I like that one. And he'd come back and he'd go, no, I got you a sticker.
You got 3 stickers from Cunnamulla and you've been there once. That's all right. I like stickers too. So what have been some of your tough moments on the road? Have you had some real challenging times where you go, why am I doing this?
Not really. Like when I was travelling down to the Vic Highlands, I had a split CV boot on my car, so I was stopping every so many kilometres to tape that up and get down there, and my electric brake wasn't working, so I'd drive through. I stopped at the beginning of Sydney, and then 2 o'clock in the morning I drove through Sydney because I didn't have proper brakes.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you just adjust and
You overcome it. You
You do.
adapt and
you
overcome.
have
That's
to.
what they say.
And I think sometimes those situations when you get thrown in the deep end, it's either sink or swim. So sometimes like I've ended up on a road and I've gone, oh my God, how did I end up on this road? I'm like, well, it's too late now. I can't do a U-turn. I've just got to keep trucking on. You know, you pull into a cul-de-sac, which ain't a cul-de-sac, 100-point turn, half an hour later, I'm out.
You got out eventually. Oh, that's all right. Would you have any other advice for other women that want to consider either solo travelling or just looking at getting a caravan and want to give it a go?
If you love travelling, you just need to get out there and do it. And as I said, the more predicaments you get yourself in accidentally, I think the better, because I think they're probably my biggest learning curves, because I wouldn't voluntarily go do something like that. But when you're thrown in that situation, it's like, well, I've got to suck it up, princess, and work out how to get out of it or whatever. And just not panic. Like even Saturday, we went to Nindigully. We got rain. We were parked right out the back. A lot of people got bogged, and we're watching everyone go out, and I got bogged. But I had all the recovery gear, and I got out.
Prepared, yeah.
I always, even when I'm on road, I always travel with all my recovery gear just in case.
Yeah.
And thankfully I did, and I'm pretty happy with my winch. It got Hugo and the car out, so
It just, the mud out there goes to clay. You
It
get
does.
2 mil of rain and you may as well be knee deep in mud.
exactly. And that's it. You've just got to, couple of deep breaths and go. And for someone like me who I do suffer bad anxiety, like even this morning leaving, I've been home for 4 days and I pulled out of the driveway and I'm like, heart's racing. I'm like, 5 minutes down the road, I'm relaxed, I'm okay. It's just
good.
that first initial bit of anxiety I get, but I push through it, and I actually think that it's improved my anxiety
That's great.
because I sort of force myself, well, not force myself, that's probably the wrong word, but I just go, well, okay, I'm going to do this, and if I get in a predicament, it's like you got to get out of it. So you just take a couple of deep breaths, ring the sun,
Ask for help. It's okay to ask for help,
or
right?
ask for help.
Yeah.
I hate messaging Steve or Link on their days off, but occasionally I've had to.
I didn't know they had days off.
But what's the response been?
Yes.
Always been great, and it's like, why didn't you contact me sooner? It's like, well, everyone's entitled to a day off. I think I'd been out of service for, God knows how long, and I think something had happened when I did the Gibb River Road, and I just quickly messaged going, this has happened. How do I just quickly do this? I'm in and out of service, and, they were onto it straight
Okay.
away.
Anya, question for you. What advice would you give to other women or people that are looking to embark on travel?
Yeah, same as Kristy. Like you just with your hands on. I was thrown in, didn't know a caravan from a bar of soap. I was on a marketing shoot trying to explain what I was towing. Had no idea what I was talking about. So when you get in there and actually use it, that's how you learn. That's the only way to learn. And when you have those challenges where you're in that situation where I don't really know what to do, well, that's you learn and you won't forget it. Sometimes it might be an unfortunate, you didn't want to be in that situation, but yeah, I totally agree. Like you just have to start.
Just give it a go.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it may be daunting for a lot of women to do that. I mean, I'm total admiration for you doing that over 2 years, all of that travel. And just listening to you, you absolutely know what you're doing. And you,
Some days.
and you, but at least you're having a crack. Like it's very, very cool.
But it's good too. There was one particular place that I go to a lot, East Corrimal, because my family's from Sydney, and I go to this caravan park all the time. And there was this one particular time I was there, and people pulled up in a Forbes 12, I think it was, and they'd bought it second hand. So they had no manuals with them, no nothing. And they were having problems with something, and I'm able to go into my van, pull out my manual and go, well, the manual says this.
Yeah.
And, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just messaging Link going, look, I've just met these people.
How good.
Got any suggestions? And we were able to help fix their solution. And to me, that's good now that I've learnt so much from so many fantastic people, part of the MDC family, and being able to even pass on something little to someone else is just
Yeah,
Yeah.
gives you a bit of confidence
Yeah,
too,
it makes you
right?
feel
it
good
shows
to
you
sort
what
of
you've
help
learned,
someone.
and that's fantastic.
I've got a big question that everyone at MDC would like to know. Kristy, who is your favourite MDC employee and why?
Because this will make or break their Christmas bonus, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I've sort of got two. Because there's always Uncle Steve. You can't forget Uncle Steve. But yeah, I know there's a running joke about my lovely friend Link.
Yeah.
Because he's always just there to help. And he's helped me with so many things with Hugo. And
He's always available, that guy.
yeah.
He's always on the end of the phone.
Even
Yeah.
at the Australia Day weekend, I had an issue going down with my tyre. And just had to get NRMA out to help me change my tyre and everything. And he's on the phone to me straight away after he saw my post on Facebook. And, sent Steve down with a brand new wheel, everything. And Steve's like, oh, if you need anything, just ask Kristy. She'll get her boyfriend Link onto it.
Oh, good. That's very, very good.
Oh,
For anyone who doesn't know out there, Link works in our after sales team.
yeah.
Absolute legend. All those blokes are.
He is an
He's here
absolute
this
legend.
weekend,
And
yeah.
even I'm part of the solo women's group chat.
They're always
And
on. Yeah.
they're both, onto it straight away, anything that anyone has. And I think there's a video he put on something to do with the battery. And I've actually saved that because I've got like a file on my phone with all my MDC stuff, my cheat file.
Yep.
So I can quickly reference tyre pressures, torque pressures, battery issues, and he's in that.
Yeah,
with
that's
that, so-
fantastic. So what's next for yourself and Hugo?
Well, the next trip is the New South Wales Muster.
Yeah, look at that.
Great choice.
Good choice, good choice.
Awesome.
We'll all be
Well,
going to that, won't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I've got a lot of New South Wales MDC family that are going to that, and so yeah, I've got to catch up with them.
Oh, well, you
That's
got a muster
brilliant.
sticker, and you can stick that on the side of the van, so you can
Yeah.
say you've been to the muster.
Yes, yes.
There'll be a different muster sticker next year, so you can start collecting those.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
I will, and I think I've stolen some of Rolly,
Yep.
and I've stolen a couple of Daniel. So I'll just keep adding to the collection.
that's fantastic.
That's really cool.
That's exciting. Well, we look forward to seeing you down there as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your experience. It's been great. It's hard to believe that you've only had your van for a couple of years and you've done what you've done.
And
I know.
yeah.
Every time I look at the odometer on my car, I think, oh my God, because I bought the car just before the van, and I've done about 10,000 Ks more in the car and the van. So every time the car clicks over for another service,
You know.
I'm just like, oh. Hugo's done a lot.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to let you go and enjoy the weekend. We're just about to have the big welcome. There's about, oh God, it looks like 200 people around the fire. It's amazing. But yeah, there must be about 150. I think we're all here. So we're about to kick off and kick off the Queensland Muster. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Thank
Thank
Kristy.
you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks very much for joining us on another podcast. Stay tuned. There's another one coming from the Queensland Muster. Please like, please subscribe, and follow us for more MDC excitement.